Bom, boa tarde a todos. É com um grande prazer que o Departamento de Estatística da UFMG anuncia o lançamento do livro Building a Platform for Data-Driven Pandemic Prediction, de autoria de professores e de alunos de pós-graduação do nosso departamento. Bom, como esse é um evento nacional de um livro internacional, nós vamos alternar entre falas em português e inglês. Então, eu vou começar falando algumas palavras em inglês. Good afternoon, everybody. We welcome all of you to the launch event of the book, Building a Platform for Data-Driven Pandemic Prediction. The authors are professors and graduate students of the Department of Statistics at UFMG. We have here with us some authorities and editors and professors and authors of the book. I will introduce them to you. Professor Mário Campos, que é o pró-reitor de pesquisa da UFMG. Rob Culver, the senior publisher of the area of statistics, mathematics, and physics of Chapman Hall. Professor Dani Gamerman. Professor Marcos Prates. Professora Thais Paiva. Professor Vinícius Mairink, do Departamento de Estatística. E o Guido Moreira, um dos autores também do livro. I just want also to communicate that we'll draw some copies of the book at the end of the event, and Professor Dani Gamerman will give you some details later when he gives his speech. I also want to say some words as the head of the department. Então, eu, como chefe do Departamento de Estatística, eu estou muito orgulhosa, tanto dos trabalhos realizados, como do engajamento de todos os professores e alunos do nosso departamento, que fizeram vários projetos durante a pandemia de Covid-19. Então, se vocês quiserem visitar a nossa homepage, vocês verão vários trabalhos desenvolvidos nesse período sobre a Covid. Então, tem trabalhos sobre construção de bancos de dados, tem trabalhos sobre avaliação de cenários da pandemia, tivemos também alguns seminários online no ano de 2020, e também projetos sobre previsão, né, de número de casos e número de mortes de Covid. E exatamente sobre esse projeto, né, que nasceu esse livro, que a gente está lançando aqui hoje. Então, é um projeto que teve o suporte do MEC, né, um edital que foi aberto para trabalho sobre Covid, e também a gente teve o suporte da UFMG. Então, por isso, a gente tem aqui hoje conosco o professor Mário Campos, que é o nosso pró-reitor de pesquisa, e eu passo a palavra para ele para falar algumas coisas para vocês.
Bom, então, boa tarde a todos e todas. Eu não sei se vou ter que ficar fazendo a tradução simultânea, mas, em nome da reitora da UFMG, a professora Sandra Regina Goulart Almeida, eu gostaria de dar as boas-vindas a todos e todas que nos assistem neste evento, né, que é do lançamento desse livro muito interessante chamado Building a Platform for Data-Driven Pandemic Prediction, From Data Modeling to Visualization, the COVID-LP project. So on behalf of our president, Professor Sandra Regina Goulart Almeida, it's my great pleasure to welcome all of you to this launching of this book, right? Beautiful book, entitled Building a Platform for Data-Driven Pandemic Prediction, From Data Modeling to Visualization, the COVID-LP project. Uma grande satisfação poder chegar nesse momento, e para isso eu tenho que dizer que nós temos que rapidamente retornar ao dia 18 de março de 2020, quando eu me lembro muito claramente, nós tivemos que deixar o campus da Pampulha para poder, então, nos abrigarmos das nossas casas para o trabalho remoto. Aquele momento, a gente não tinha a menor noção do que viria, estávamos realmente ingressando em densas trevas, sem saber o que aconteceria, nem como é que seria o fim dessa pandemia. Eu confesso que eu, particularmente, achei que, sei lá, em 2 meses ou 3 meses nós estaríamos de volta, e mal sabíamos nós aqui agora, muito mais do que 1 ano, né, de pandemia, ainda estamos passando por esses momentos ainda difíceis. É importante eu dar nesse início exatamente que logo depois desse dia 18, semana seguinte, ou um pouquinho para frente, a reitora foi contactada pelo secretário de Educação e Ensino Superior, do MEC-CESU, numa manhã, me lembro muito bem, na verdade mais próximo do meio-dia, e falando o seguinte: olha, nós precisamos receber projetos, porque há recurso no Ministério para poder, então, apoiar o enfrentamento à Covid. Então, muito rapidamente, nós conseguimos entrar em contato com a comunidade, que nos encaminhou, então, os diversos projetos, e a partir daquilo ali nós compusemos um mega projeto e mandamos para o MEC. E esse recurso do MEC, então, que a UFMG, aliás, diga de passagem, foi quem recebeu o maior montante, a partir desse projeto, então, nós criamos então um programa interno na UFMG para enfrentamento à Covid, com os diversos subprojetos das diversas áreas do conhecimento. E um desses projetos é exatamente esse que, com grande satisfação, nós podemos ver que desembocou ou gerou esse belo trabalho, né? Aliás, é bom lembrar aqui que a professora Thais, que está presente aqui, ela participou logo no princípio de um dos nossos primeiros eventos chamados UFMG Talks, né, em que ela, então, falava então, a respeito do projeto, né, sendo desenvolvido no Departamento de Estatística. Então, assim, é com grande satisfação que a gente consegue ver o coroamento, né, desse trabalho, que certamente a gente sabe não terminará aqui, mas que a gente sabe que, de fato, gerou e produziu e instigou também a pesquisa, não só os nossos colegas docentes, professores, pesquisadores, mas também essa nova geração que está vindo aí dos nossos estudantes de pós-graduação e de graduação. Então, eu não vou me estender muito mais, porque existem certamente muitas interações mais interessantes a serem tratadas. Eu gostaria, então, de aproveitar para poder saudar, então, a professora Glaura, né, que é chefe do Departamento de Estatística, o professor Dani Gammerman, né, com quem nós interagimos logo no princípio, o professor Marcos Prates, né, nosso conhecido de longa data, né, a professora Thais Paiva, o professor Vinícius Mairink, os demais colegas do Departamento de Estatística, estudantes, né, de graduação e pós-graduação. Would like to also to thank very much for the presence of Bob Calver from Chapman Hall for this great opportunity to publish this book by CRC Press. I believe that this is a great opportunity for this company actually to get to know further the excellent work that our colleagues from the statistics department they have been performing all these years. So want to welcome you, Rob Calver, and we expect you guys to have a wonderful event this afternoon. Então, com as palavras, eu gostaria de agradecer mais uma vez e parabenizar toda a equipe por esse maravilhoso trabalho e desejar uma excelente tarde de discussão e de aprofundamento nesses aspectos tão interessantes desse problema que foi resolvido, né? Tem que se trabalhar para ser resolvido. Uma boa tarde a todos e todas.
Muito obrigada, Mário. Muito obrigada por sua participação. Agora eu vou passar a palavra. Now, next we have Rob Calver, the senior publisher of Chapman Hall. Rob, it's with you.
Thank you, Clara. It's a great pleasure to be here today. Thank you for inviting me. So yeah, my name's Rob Calver. I am senior publisher for mathematics, statistics and physics books at Chapman and Hall, which is part of the Taylor and Francis Group publishers. I work on books in statistics and data science, and I've known Danny Gammerman, the first editor on this book, for many, many years. We first started working together back in 2004 on his classic Markov chain Monte Carlo textbook. We worked on another book together about 7 or 8 years ago, a statistical inference book, which came out in 2014. So this is actually the third book we've worked on together. Now, It's also one of the fastest books I've ever worked on, because Danny first wrote to me back in July of last year to let me know about the COVID LP project that he was working on. I thought it sounded really exciting, and I asked him if he'd considered the possibility of working on a book to supplement it, to talk about the project. He hadn't, but it sparked some interest in him and in the rest of the team, and they decided they would like to do it. So they worked on a book proposal, which they sent to me later that month. So it started moving very quickly. We actually signed a contract with them in September, with a very ambitious schedule in it of Danny and the team delivering the book to us by January. Now, I should say this is highly unusual for a book like this. They generally take 18 months to 2 years for a team of authors to put together a book like this. But we all knew that we wanted the book to be published as soon as possible because it's on such a timely topic. And Danny and the team made the decision that they would try and get it done by the January of this year, which they did. They kept to their schedule. They sent us a draft of the book on the 21st of December, just in time for Christmas, which was an astonishing effort just 3 months after we'd signed that contract. We did a bit of reviewing and development of the book in the early part of this year, and the book was ready to go into production in April. And it's standard production schedule for us of about 5 months, which means we published the book perfectly on schedule on the 14th of September, just a month ago. So the team did an amazing job to turn the book around so quickly. As I said, 14 months from the original discussion of the idea to publication is incredibly quick for a book like this. It's very timely, covering this idea of building a platform for data-driven pandemic prediction. Very timely, of course, with the COVID pandemic still ongoing. The book is designed to be very accessible. It can be used by practitioners in a range of disciplines, whether they be in statistics, biostatistics, epidemiology, public health, working for a government agency, say, anybody who's interested in epidemic modeling in general, of course, including the COVID-19 pandemic in particular, prediction of that, and platform building using R and Shiny and other interactive plotting programs. It's a fantastic book. I'm sure it's going to be useful to a lot of people. It's always great fun working with Danny, and it was great to work with the team. I'm really excited to see how people will respond to the book. So I'll now hand over to Danny for a short video giving a bit more detail about the contents of the book. So thank you again.
Okay, thank you, Rob. Now, Professor Danny Gamerman will start his speech.
Hi, everyone. My name is Deborah Magalhães, and I'm a member of the project COVID LP that led to the preparation of the book, Building a Platform for Data-Driven Pandemic Prediction, from Data Modeling to Visualization, the COVID LP project. This rather long title is a reflection of the interdisciplinary spirit of the book.
This book is about building platforms for pandemic prediction. It provides an overview of probabilistic prediction for pandemic modeling based on a data-driven approach. It also provides guidance on building platforms with currently available technology using tools such as R, Shiny, and interactive plotting programs. The book focuses on the integration of statistics and competing tools rather than an in-depth analysis of all possibilities on each side. Readers can follow different reading paths through the book depending on their needs. The book is meant as a basis for further investigation of statistical modeling, implementation tools, monitoring aspects, and software functionalities. A general but parsimonious class of models to perform statistical prediction for epidemics using a Bayesian approach. Implementation of automated routines to obtain daily prediction results. How to interactively visualize the model results. Strategies for monitoring prediction performance and identifying potential issues in the results. Discusses the many decisions required to develop and publish online platforms. and an R package and its specific functionalities for modeling epidemic outbreaks. The book is geared towards practitioners with an interest in the development and presentation of results in an online platform of statistical analysis of epidemiological data. The primary audience includes applied statisticians, biostatisticians, computer scientists, epidemiologists, and professionals interested in learning more about epidemic modeling in general, including the COVID-19 pandemic and platform building. The authors are professors in the statistics department at Universidade Federal de Minas Gerais. Their research includes contributions to a number of areas of science, including epidemiology. Their research activities include books published by Chapman Hall, CRC Press, and papers in high-quality journals. They have also been involved with academic management of graduate programs in statistics, and Marcos Prates is currently the president of the Brazilian Statistical Association.
Hi everyone, my name is
Agora o professor Dani vai apresentar o restante do lançamento do livro.
Bom, boa tarde a todos. Good afternoon, everyone, good evening, or good morning, depending which part of the earth you are. My talk will be basically associated with the history of the book. Part of the pre-history of the book was advanced to you by Rob. We've been in collaboration for many, many years, more than Rob Calver mentioned to you. In fact, it started with a book he published that I wrote in 1997, I think. So it dates back to the end of the previous century. And then going on about the history of this presentation itself, of the book, it started, as Professor Mário Campos mentioned, with the start of the pandemic in Brazil, where classes were suspended, and I have to do something with students in my class that was on the topic of dynamic modeling of time series. So I had to do something I couldn't teach. The university was not allowing us to teach, just to do exercises. So I started this simple exercise with the student of the class. And then I shared these exercises on prediction of the pandemic. And I think we started interacting, getting results, and spreading the word across to faculty and other graduate students. And then the process grew. And as Professor Mário Campos mentioned, there was a call for support that was from the Ministry of Education that was vital for our project because it enabled us to buy high computing capabilities machines and hire 2 postdocs. And these 2 inputs, along with the association of further faculty and the further graduate students, not just the students that were taking the class, were vital for the development of the project. And then one thing led to the other. The app with automatic extraction and automatic generation of results were suggested, was implemented, and then we thought about building a software and for more advanced users interested in analyzing their own data. And then we developed a site for interaction, and then we gave talks, and the process was growing. And then I got a mail from Rob Calver with a general announcement of support for initiatives associated with the pandemic. And then we thought about taking this huge challenge. Now, I agree with Rob, it's astonishing what we managed to achieve in a very few months, but this was only possible because we had a wonderful team of collaborators, both in terms of faculty and graduate students. And here we are, very proud of what we have achieved. I know we are not solving the problem, we're not solving even the understanding of the pandemic. That was never our intention, but just to contribute with our small bit to what we could do to help others understand and position themselves to know what is ahead of us in terms of the pandemic. And that's what we did. And that's what we wanted to do. And that's what the editors of Chapman Hall knew we were going to provide. And this is why we are so proud. The future is to continue with the project. We have many new challenges or many old challenges that were not properly solved by the completion of the book. And that's what we are trying to do next. Before passing on the word to all the other speakers of this session, I just want to mention that we are going to give away 2 copies of the book. 2 cópias do livro serão sorteadas nesse evento. Para participar, to participate, just as you can see written here, you must leave a comment on the chat of this transmission with your contact email, and the draw will be broadcasted in the YouTube channel of the department today at 4 p.m. Brazil time. Então, por favor, todos que quiserem participar, enviem seu comentário com e-mail para participar do sorteio. Thanks, everybody. I now pass on the words to the next speaker.
Thank you, Danny. It's my pleasure to talk a little bit about the team we constructed over the project. So as Danny said, it was a class project that became bigger than the class itself, and it grew to have many participants, include professors, students, and even researchers. So I think, Guido, you can go to the next slide, please. So this is the structure and the team members of our project. Basically, we have 4 faculty members, many graduate students, and 3 researchers at the time. And as you see, this is an effort of many people that work together to put not only this book, but the project up. And the book, it's ending up for this first year of the project, where we have many nice and interesting things we'd like to share, especially on how to build these platforms, basics on the epidemic modeling from a statistical point of view, how to build R packages, how to use R packages, and so on. People will talk about all these topics soon. So given this huge, we consider it huge, right? Because it's an institutional project that comes from a class, number of participants, we decided to create a structure to separate us in different research areas. Guido, can you go to the next one, please? So the research groups were separated in 4 topics, where each one was responsible to take care of one part of the project. We all interacted together during this period, but we have these subgroups that were very important for us to concentrate our efforts, and everybody was aware of what's supposed to do and how and so on. So the app group was the first one that was related to interact with the from the audience, right? So it has to maintain the app, implement the app, and take care of all the interface projects we have. The implementation group was the one responsible to create the bridge between the methodology we were studying and preparing and implementing and so on, do the implementation testing of the algorithms, and also to provide the necessary information for the app to be able to show us an interface. The methodology group or research group can be seen as our research and development group, where all the methods and modeling and statistical tools we use were tested, premurated, improved until we were satisfied enough with the method we were using and all its information that was provided. So this way, the methodology group would say, now we can put this on implementation format and we can go to the app. And the monitoring group was one of, I think, key aspects of our success, if I can put this way, because it has the task of monitoring the daily basis, the performance of our app, of our models and the implementation. So they were supposed to anticipate any problems, any errors, any bugs, and they will bring back to the related group when they see anything that was going on, when they see anything that was going on with the pandemics and should be improved in our modeling strategy. And so they will talk to all of us. And in the end of the day, we have this cohesion where everybody communicates and end up knowing where we were, right? So at the end, we can go to the next slide. We see how we end up having our organization of the group. So we have our COVID LP team. This is the whole team again. And under the supervision of Danny Gamerman, overall supervision, he was our mentor here. We have the 4 groups that were, each one of them, one of the professors were responsible for that group. So we have the app group with Thais, and these are the students and research members that participate on that group. The implementation was under my supervision with my team that I'm very proud of. I'm sure that Kido will talk about our package, and we were very successful in what was proposed. I think all of us were anyways, but that was my group, so I was proud of it. Methodology with Danny again. So all the research part and this methodology development was doing under his group. And finally, monitoring, Vinicius was responsible to putting all the groups together, and we know where we were. And this way, I think we were able to organize and provide a structure that really came up to give a nice project interpretation, and we were able to provide, I think, a nice piece of work that ended up in this nice book. Thank you. I'll pass the word to Vinicius. I think he can follow up from the team.
Okay, so I'm Vinicius, and I'm going to talk about the table of contents to give an idea to the audience about what you can find in the book. So Guido, go ahead. So basically, this information you already saw in the video just played. Basically, I would like to emphasize the readers can follow different paths to read this book. The book is written in different, has different parts. So basically, you don't have to read a specific part in order to understand the other one. So these parts are kind of independent, and you may choose what chapter or what part is more is the most interesting for you to read. And basically, if you are interested to understand the whole process, then you should read the whole book, but you can read it in different parts. So the book is basically designed to provide further investigation and about statistical modeling, as Marco said, implementation tools, the monitoring, and also about software. So I will show the information about the table of contents. Kilo, go ahead. So the first part is the introduction, including 2 chapters, the overview of the book, and also talking about in general about the pandemic data. Then we move to a modeling part containing 4 chapters, talking about basic features about the modeling, about the data, about some specific features of the data, and also giving them some basic ideas on Bayesian inference for those in the audience that are not well trained in this type of inference. Go on. Next, the third part You include the further modeling with some topics not explored in the previous part, including modeling misreported data, and also some other information about the modeling, hierarchical modeling. And then we move to the implementation part with 3 chapters, giving all the details about how the tools were implemented to make the inference, so including data extraction, how the process was automated for modeling and for producing the inference, and building an interesting chapter, building the interactive application, the app, using the Shiny. So, for example, if someone is interested on learning how to prepare the Shiny application, the chapter 11 will be the one. Go on. Next, the part 5 talks about in 3 chapters about the monitoring, as Max said. This is a project that produces predictions, daily predictions. So we have to take care of looking at the data every day to see if there are any outliers or any problem, any issues, and also to look at the inference to see if it is the results are reasonable. So we have chapters to talk about this, and also a chapter 14 to compare predictions with another platform, the IHME, produced from the University of Washington. So we have some comparisons in chapter 14. Next part is the software, talking about the R package developed around this topic of the COVID-19, the pandemic LP package. And in chapter 16, you will see some further advanced settings for one specific function at the pandemic model. So this is an interesting part talking about the software that anyone can download from the CRAN repository to install in the local computer to run the analysis for some specific series, some specific data that you may have that is not shown in our application. And then we move to the conclusions, chapter 17, with the future directions and giving some ideas about what can we do in the future, and also what we have learned from all chapters presented in the book, throughout the book. So that's what I have to say. Thank you. So I'll now pass to Thais.
Thanks, Vinicius. Hi, my name is Thais Paiva. I'm one of the professors that started this project, and I'll be talking about the app, the development of the app. That was one of the crucial parts of this project. That's when I entered the project as soon as the students, advised by Dani, as he said, started having results, predictions to present. We talked about how to publish this so other people can see. So it was important that the results didn't live on our computers alone. So we wanted to share this with the world. So we started talking about this app. On the next slide, you're gonna see the address of our app, of our current version of the app. And as you enter this address, you're gonna see this first page where you have some information of how to use the app. So on the top part, you have some links with more information about our project. And on this blue bar, it's the main button part where you can select the region that you want to see the data and the predictions as well. So in the bottom part, it's important, if you can go to the next slide, Guido, please. You can see I highlighted here the 3 tabs that we present with the results. So in the first tab, the one that's showing now, you have the data, just the observed data of confirmed cases and deaths since the beginning of the pandemic for a list of countries and states. So you can see only the observed part. And you also have other 2 tabs with the short term and the long term, which is the one that I'm going to show next, that has our results presented. So Guido can go on. So if you click on the long term tab, you're going to see not only the observed data, but also our predictions for the upcoming months regarding the time series of confirmed cases and also deaths. All these plots are interactive. You can zoom, you can click, you can select some dates. You can also change the countries and the states, and the plots are going to be automatically updated, because all of this is based, there is an R session running behind this. So all the plots are being remade online with an R session. So you have other functionalities in the app that you can explore. So just go to this address. You're going to see there our current version of the app. This version, this is the final version that we have now, but we also had some other versions in the beginning. We evolved all of this based on the feedback that we had. So I'm going to leave you to explore the app and see and check the predictions, the update predictions that we provide. You can also download the data, check for other regions as well. And on the app, there's also the link that goes to our main page that we post all the information. We have a blog session that we post all the updates about our predictions and everything related to our project. You can leave a comment for us there too. So this is the app part to present the results that all that team that Marcos talked about. All the effort that everyone is doing is presented online in this app. And on the next slide, I just want to promote the part, like if you want to build an app like this, it can be for any other kind of data. And basically it's, I think a short tutorial of how to make an app using Shiny, which is the package in R that we use to do this. But there's also some other packages as well to make the interactive plots. All of this is well explained in the chapter 11 of our book. So I just want to invite you to check out our book if you're interested in building apps like this. And I want to thank for your attention and invite Guido to speak now.
Thanks, Thais. I will talk a little bit about our package. When I joined the project last year, it had already started. It had already booted up. It already had the app, and there had already been some marketing initiatives to promote the project. And with that came around some people who were interested in using our methodology. And so we went, yeah, sure, go ahead and use it. But all the code for that we were using was available on a GitHub publicly, but it was a mess. It was very hard to understand, and everyone required a lot of help to actually use our methodology. So around that time, I was interested in creating our packages and our extensions. And so I came with the idea of creating a package that made everything easier. And at the same time, we were also worried about how people were going to use our method, because they could misuse it. So we wanted to control a little bit about that. And a package, when you actually publish a package, you have to publish it under a license. And with a license, we can control how people use our code. So it fits perfectly like a glove into what we needed. So I want to show you very quickly how to, use our package, and I want to show you how show you how easy it is. So basically, you can, for those of you who know how to load and use our functions, you load it with the library function. So you load our package with Pandemic LP, and the name Pandemic LP came after a lot of discussion, and it is interesting because it doesn't involve COVID specifically. It is not meant as a tool for COVID only. It is meant for any pandemic and any type of epidemic. And the same is true for the book. Even though the book has COVID in the name, in the title, the name of the project is COVID LP, but the book is not meant exclusively for COVID, but also any type of pandemic. And I thought this would be interesting to highlight. Anyway, so you load data, and we have a function to load COVID data just because it's very relevant right now. But you can load with the load COVID function. You can choose a last state, meaning when you want the data to stop, so that you can predict and compare the results with future data that already happened. And when you plot it, you can plot it with confirmed cases and death cases. And this is a plotly plot, so you can interact with it as with any plotly object. So you can click on the blue line in the legend to hide the blue line and only see deaths, etc., etc. So anyway, I'm going to skip ahead. The actual estimation takes a little bit of time because it's NCMC, and as you ask for the model to include more and more weights, then the slower it takes, the slower it is to actually get to the end. So it'll take a little bit more time. So I'm going to cheat a little bit here and show you after we've done it, you actually use the function pandemic model, which Vinicius talks about already. There's a whole chapter in the book for it. And you can see over there that I asked for four waves specifically, and then you predict the data with the posterior predict function, which is actually a function from RStan tools. So it's a very generic function, and then you plot the results again with plot, and you can see here that the plot happened. And this is a little bit like what's happening in the app, and we have formatted the graphic so that it looks exactly like it does in the app. But it's still a plotly object, and you can interact with it however you like and add lines, etc. If you know how to use the plotly package. So you can see here that the model actually finds 4 waves. There's a very tiny one in the beginning over there, and you can see how easy it is to use our code. So instead of a very big, convoluted, complicated, and very messy code, you can, with very simple lines of code, you can just intuitively ask for the estimation, the prediction. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot more options, but you can read about them in the documentation. So I wanted to show you a little glimpse of what we have, and of course, as a software, it's a living organism. It's still growing. It's still being developed, and we expect it to become better and better in time. Thank you for your time, and that's it for the presentation.
Okay. Nós já tivemos as apresentações de todos os editores e autores. O professor Marcos está gerenciando o YouTube. Se alguém tiver alguma pergunta, pode fazer a pergunta em português também. So the questions can be done in Portuguese or in English. And you can do it on YouTube. Professor Dani wants to finish the talk. Dani?
No, I just want to say that I'm very happy with this session, even though we ran out of time quickly. and perhaps prevented people from having the interest in making questions, but I'm very happy. Estamos muito felizes com termos chegado a esse ponto e termos escrito livro e termos tido essa oportunidade de falar com o público. I would like to particularly thank the support we have from Reitoria da UFMG, from Professor Mário Campos, representing Reitoria, the Chapman Hall, which has always been a great companion for us, statisticians and scientists in general, and thank them also for their support. And finally, I would like to go back again to our dedication of the book. This book, by the choice of the authors, is dedicated to science. Questions?
Yes, we have some questions there. João Luiz is asking, is there multi-platform versions for Pandemic LP?
Guido?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question? I didn't get it.
Is there multi-platform versions for Pandemic LP?
Not yet. We are considering in the future implementing it in Python, but our efforts are really spread a little bit thin right now. So in time we'll get there, but not right now at the moment.
André está perguntando qual o departamento que produziu o livro. Na verdade, o departamento, o projeto são de professores e alunos de pós-graduação do departamento de estatística. Os autores querem falar mais alguma coisa sobre essa pergunta?
Departamento de Estatística da UFMG, né?
Uhum,
Agora está tendo até participação na nova equipe de alunos de graduação da UFMG e de outros graduação no momento só da UFMG, mas de pós-graduação da UFRJ também. Estamos abertos a novas ofertas de voluntários.
Certo? Bom, como não apareceram mais perguntas, por enquanto, o sorteio do livro não vai ser feito nessa plataforma do YouTube, nesse canal do YouTube. Vai ser feito em outro canal do YouTube, que é o canal dos seminários do Departamento de Estatística. Então, o Marcos vai colocar aí no chat o canal, onde será feito o sorteio depois que terminarmos o evento aqui no canal do CAC da UFMG. Então, o sorteio não será feito aqui nesse canal. Vai ser feito logo após o encerramento no canal do YouTube da Estatística.
O Guido poderia voltar com o arquivo? Está na primeiro slide. Antes que a gente encerre, pontualmente às 3 horas. Com a presença de todos, com essas câmeras, por favor. Obrigado, Guido. Rob, if you could turn on your camera as well for the closing ceremony. Once again, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure writing another book with Chapman Hall. Thanks to you.
Thank you, Danny. It was a pleasure working with you on the book, and I hope we'll work together again on another project at some point very soon.
Let's hope. Let's wait.
Take a break first, and then I'll talk to you later.
Okay, everybody, we'll finish the